Yep, we see you now and hear you.
Hi, Professor Spear.
Greetings. So greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira, and right now you are listening to Brother Air's Ludlow Strut. This particular album was recorded the day before Brother Air broke his first 8.5-month fast. And you can see him talking about his fast on some of our other videos, that kind of thing. Now, we don't promote or condone, long-term fasting. If you're not ready, it's not, so don't go try to do what he did. He was practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System for almost 30 years before he had did that, and that was kind of a logical conclusion, and also based on things that he wanted to do and different goals that he had set for himself on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. So welcome everybody to Mucus-free Life Meetup. We've done a few of these meetups in the past. I always want to do more of them, and really looking forward to talking and meeting all these fine people here that are all interested in practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Everybody is coming from different, points of view and diverse backgrounds, different stages, and in terms of how long they practice the diet. Some people just read the book maybe a couple days ago. Other people might have practiced the diet for a while, and some folks, a lot of interesting projects are going on. A lot of movers and shakers here in this group today. So, really looking forward to talking to everybody. So, let's go ahead and get it started. So right now, I just kind of go down the line and introduce everybody. Have you introduce yourself. Just not a long introduction, but just kind of say your name, where you're from, and how you learned about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. When did you learn about it? So let's start with Mr. Tobin Childs. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah. So let's.
Yeah, I'm from originally Los Angeles, California, and lived there for like 18 years. And I came up here to Portland, Oregon, and I lived here for like 4 or 5 years. I heard about the Mucusless Diet Healing System 2 years ago, and ever since then I've just taken it on, and it's just really shown me a lot about myself and this life, and it's really been a great journey, and I'm glad to be part of it. So, and be connecting with you guys too. It's important to have the support.
Yeah, most definitely. Sure. All right. So, Danielle, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle, and it's nice meeting you all. This is my first group call, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm originally from Big Bear, California, but I came to Ohio. My grandmother was sick, and I turned down scholarships to come out here and just stayed when she passed. I found out about the Mucusless diet by chance. I had been a raw vegan for quite some time, and prior to that was into bodybuilding. And what brought me to the raw vegan lifestyle was the standard American diet. Through competing had messed up my digestive system, and I needed to go more natural. And so I basically was searching for a higher way of eating, and was on the internet looking, and I came across Professor Spear on the Mucusless diet, and so I've been working with him since last November, and I'm very excited about it, and I think this is literally the way that we all should be eating, and I'm happy to be sharing my experience with all of you guys and meeting all of you. So thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for joining. So next, Camille, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be part of this call. I first came across the Mucusless Diet Healing System I was watching a YouTube video in which Professor Spear was describing the mathematical equation V equal P minus O, and my eyes were riveted on the screen, and I'm like, oh, that's a good formula. I've never heard it. This is unprecedented. And I listened to the video in its entirety, and at the end of the video, I researched a Mucusless Diet Healing System, and I reached out to Professor Spira, and I've been working with him ever since. And I really love it because it is life-changing for me.
All right. So next up, Brittany.
Hey,
How you
thank
doing?
you. I'm doing great. Let's see. Well, I've been on my conscious healing journey for about 8 years now when I got really sick and I decided to start taking care of myself. And along there somewhere, I came across these old books. I really like old, small books. And yeah, that's where I was introduced to the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Arnold Ehret. And then I found the Facebook group. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's great. I mean, I work with clients as well. And I really like to use the transition. I mean, it's a lifestyle, not just a fad. So yeah.
Yeah, all right. And you have some projects going, don't you? What's the name of your
Yes, sir.
project?
Well, I work, you know, at sort of the face level here. We're just planting fruit trees and reforesting the world to provide food for the people. And so we're throwing together a fruit festival in September in Costa Rica. So all of our fruit is going to be provided from, you know, within 40 miles. So very local, over like 40 varieties of fruit. It's going to be based on sustainability and really empowering people to learn how to grow their own food. Yeah, so that's one thing, but underneath it all really is trying to shift the consciousness of people from a mindset of fear and poverty, guilt and shame, to one of love, prosperity, truth, and simplicity. So that's kind of the bigger picture. And also working with the Sustainable Living Tour, which is in Southern California, and they're going to be driving a veggie oil bus all around different farms in southern Florida, permaculture, sustainability, and showing us that we can live and create what we want, you know, live the lives that we want to be living and love to live.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, Ashley, greetings.
What's up, guys?
So tell us a little
I'm
bit about yourself.
Hello. I'm Ashley. I've met most of you on Facebook, which is awesome. So that's me. And I guess first, thank you all for giving me your eyes and hearts and minds and listening to me and talking to me. It's cool. And I came into the Mucusless Diet Healing System through my dad, so many years ago, but like most of our father's wisdom, I didn't listen to it the first time, or probably the second time. And yeah, so now I'm just practicing the diet and seeing where I can go with it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. And Andre, what's going on, brother?
Man, I got in. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Good, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just got in. But anyway, yeah, I found out about the diet back in 2013. You know, I went vegan overnight, and then a couple months later, I found out about the Mucusless diet. I was doing a random search on stuff, and then I found a book and read the book in like 24 hours, and it was history.
Yeah.
The first sentence, you know, in lesson 1 got me. But, you know, I've been, you know, transitioning slowly, you know, doing my best, transitioning slowly, not rushing the whole thing. So, but yeah, originally I'm back there now, but I'm working on still trying to establish a health retreat center down there. So that's gonna be my life's work, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's cool. And you got some degrees, right? You what was that? Soil management, or what was your degree in?
Um, Environmental science, but with
Uh,
a yeah, and I plan to incorporate some of that in the health and retreat and a whole
say what?
ecotourism.
Say those again. It kind of cut out real quick when you were saying your degrees.
No, I said environmental science,
Mm.
but I studied soil science, trying to use organic amendments in crop production.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I said I want to incorporate that in a the health retreat center and couple that with ecotourism.
mm.
Trying to make the connection there, so people can come from different parts of the world and experience the whole tropical food forest type things, gardening, herbs, and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, most
I,
definitely.
Andre, where did you say you were?
I was I'm originally born in Belize,
Okay.
Yeah,
Central America.
yeah, Belize. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's where he's kind of looking to do some things, and yeah. So there's several. There's several folks on here that have a similar mission of creating some tropical paradise retreat slash diet haven slash village community. So that's good, and this is the forum where we talk about that kind of stuff, and we bring these ideas. As I've talked for a while of my vision is to have like a mucus-free village that everything is all off the grid and sustainable, and solar and wind power is all the stuff, and there's campsites and all that kind of stuff, and uh, just the brand new thing for 21st century, and and being able to surround yourself with people that are serious about trying to heal themselves, and just live a gentler lifestyle, just where it's not all, man, this stuff out here is getting crazy. I mean, you turn on TV now, a lot of us now, we turn on the YouTube, and it's like, what cop is killing what innocent bystander today? What is getting crazy. Not that it wasn't crazy before, but it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like the pus and mucus dynamic is making things get really extreme. So on one hand, you have the whole dynamic, and people coming from that thing just going crazy, just the whole people eating, like somebody had posted up the other day, one of that heart attack grill thing with someone eating a bunch of stuff. So you got that on one extreme, and then the other side is us, trying this radical idea of, wow, humans have really gotten away from where we're supposed to be in terms of our diet. So let's see if we can transition at least back in the direction. I'm not saying we're gonna make it all the way back in one or two generations, but we can at least start the process, and be the founding fathers and mothers of the next human evolution. So I guess maybe one thing I always like to ask everybody is, coming from different places, right now, what's the most challenging thing about the mucusless diet for you right now? And that could be anything from social dynamics, or maybe food addictions, or conceptual things, or whatever it is for you. And we'll just kind of let folks kind of chime in and see how that rolls. So what's the most challenging thing for you right now practicing the mucusless diet? Do I have to assign people? Let's see. All right, let's start with Andre. You know, tell us what's the most challenging thing for you.
Well, the most challenging thing is sometimes the the social dynamics, associated with family and friends that might not get what you're doing, or or why you're doing it. And also trying to stay on a like a set plan. Like, for example, if I'm gonna juice in the morning and then eat like an afternoon meal and then juice at night, or just trying to get a system going down that my body can get accustomed to. But I've been working on things like that. But other than, the biggest thing for me is the social dynamics of the system, and dealing with people, dealing with relationships, and just like, seeing someone stuffing their face with something and then trying to be critical, but, trying to practice patience, not to be critical. So those are the tough things for me on the diet.
Yeah. All right. How about Ashley? Ashley, what's the most challenging thing for you thus far? Because I know you're pretty early on.
Yeah, I don't know. It changes from day to day. One day the challenge might be eating greens. Another day the challenge might be, I don't know. I'm on 2 days fast, so I feel just fine today. I don't have any challenges right now.
Yeah, well,
I feel all right.
yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, so I guess a challenge of what to do with all your time. You have a lot of free time, so find some new things to do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. How about you, Camille? What's some of the challenging things for you?
The challenges are similar to what Brother Andre described. Dealing with family, dynamics, family relationship, and they're not cohesive. They're not working cohesively with the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And then also, what I find challenging is the world is really saturated with the pus and mucus. It's a society, based on pus and mucus. So wherever we go, you see it. It's blatant, and you see it. So it's easy. So I'm really working my earnest to not fall back and relapse into the pus and mucus world.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And let's see. And Doug just joined us. What's going on, Doug?
Hey, what's going on, Spirit? How are you doing?
Pretty good. Well, why don't you real quick tell everybody a little bit about yourself and kind of just real quick your background and how you learned about the diet.
Okay, cool. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Doug. I think I've been practicing now the Mucusless Diet Healing System probably 2.5 years, I'm guessing. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I just got down into Southern California with some good weather, some good food. I'm on a tropical fruit farm. So that's really been conducive to the healing system. But how I found out about the Mucusless Diet Healing System, I went to a silent 10-day meditation retreat. Knew what I was putting in my body had a really large influence in how I was feeling, how I was thinking, pretty much everything that was going on. And I got back, stopped at a coffee shop, and this dude that I met wrote Arnold Ehret Mucusless Diet Healing System down on a piece of paper, gave it to me. And just by talking to him, I instantly knew that it was something for me. Got the book, started practicing, and it's all been over from there. But yeah, it's been a good journey so far, and I'm happy to be talking with you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I haven't connected with anybody in such a long time.
Yeah. Well, tell us real quick something that what would you consider the most challenging thing, or one of the most challenging things for you practicing the diet thus far?
So the most challenging thing for me thus far has been transitioning on different levels. I just made a YouTube video recently talking about how we transition on social levels, and like environmental levels, all these different levels of transition that kind of come into play. And it's not just something was blatantly obvious to me. I was so focused on just putting the right food in my body, I think I was lacking in these other areas of transition. Yeah, I would say for me, the most difficult thing would be to just like let go of all of these belief systems and letting go of all these preconceived notions of what we should be doing or what we shouldn't be doing, and just kind of letting it flow. It's like I get really stuck in my head sometimes, and I think that's definitely limited my transition. And just like being so focused on the food and wanting it now. That's another really big thing, is just like wanting everything to happen right now, when it's just like such a long process of relative evolution. And it's like a lifelong journey. And like loving myself too, and not beating myself up and being hard on myself. I really don't find like the food like a very difficult part of the transition. It's more like the social aspect and the other elements.
Yeah.
And it's almost even hard to define and put like a label on it. It's really just like listening to yourself, really, and kind of like getting in tune with who you are, and not really basing what you're doing off of what someone else is doing. I think that's pretty huge for me.
Yeah. All right. How about Danielle? What is one of the most challenging things for you thus far about the Mucusless diet?
Okay. I would say that I agree with a lot of what Doug said. Mine is probably transitioning. I'm in the health and fitness industry, and as some of you know, if not all of you, they focus a lot on animal protein and protein powders and supplements and things like that, and it's hard to introduce the mucusless diet to those who really don't care to hear it. It's a lot easier for those who come to me that have tried the standard American diet and want to have another way of eating and living. Those people are easy to talk to, but I've come to find that for me it's difficult to really try to talk to the ones that complain about digestive issues, complain about health issues, but want to continue to eat the way they want to eat. So that in itself is hard for me. And also, too, I know a lot of people that are socialites. And as we all know, a lot of what we do out here revolves around food. Holidays, family activities, gatherings. So that's difficult to be able to, resist eating out or bringing your own food. I get criticized all the time because I bring my own food to restaurants. And that's hard. So, I would say those are the two things that I struggle with the most. A lot of people are getting better and supporting me, and they're not judging me as much because I've been doing it for so long. So the ones that know me, it's easier now, but for people who don't know me, it's still hard. So that's what I would say.
All right. And I think Brittany is left, so what's some challenging things for you with this whole healing lifestyle?
I would mostly echo like Doug. I mean, I've been at it for a little while now, and really digging into of healing, and just really observing more of my own relationships that I have, how I use food. Like right now, I'm on a trip with my family, and maybe get a little stressed out, and it's like you just kind of want to retreat kind of to old patterns maybe, but you can maybe hear them in the background. Yeah, but I'd say mostly the emotional aspect, But yeah, just using different tools for that for sure. And I don't know if Tobin spoke either.
Oh yeah, Tobin. He's back. Yeah.
Came back.
Yeah. So what's some of your most challenging things for you on the Mucusless diet?
Oh, for me, okay. Man, there's so many things. I mean, pretty much what everyone has said. I mean, there's the social piece. I mean, there's kind of your own addictions to mucus-forming food. You know, there's like also the aspect of just being able to function, being able to keep up with doing all these different things, like especially like working a full-time job and like, you know, paying rent and doing all this in the midst of sometimes you could be going through something physiologically where you just need to rest and lay down and chill, but you might have to just like I might just have to go through it and just like bust it out and like go to work and just like, I mean, sometimes I'll call in sick, but you know, then it's like I can't. It's like a balance, trying to find that balance of like when I should stay at home and rest, when need be, and then like when I need to go work, and like, you know, because like it's all important, but you know, we know this is definitely our #1 priority. So I'd say also just kind of getting grounded in the practice. I've definitely gotten a lot better as far as being able to go through different periods of like fruit eating and fasting to mucus lean. Like I don't even really binge eat anymore, which was like a big problem for me like early in the beginning. I mean, I'll still like get down, but I'm not like going straight crazy like a crackhead, you know.
Yeah, the crackhead period.
That's, yeah, crackhead period. Like at 7-Eleven, like looking at donuts and chips.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like dealing with also other people and how much less like feeling like less stimulated you are. You don't really feel as stimulated to do a lot of things that people want to do, even though like I still hang out with my friends and whatnot. Just like I enjoy just being in nature, like in calmness. For most of the time, I mean, I still like going out to the city, but it definitely can get a little.
Oh, we lost Tobin. I think his internet connection isn't the most vital. But yeah, I love what everybody had to say. And one thing I had to say is some people see, there's a couple videos I did, and sometimes because we talk about the social dynamic, because there's a couple things that were raised very important to understand that you got to deal with: the emotional part, you know, the emotional detoxification, and social dynamics of oftentimes people are not ready for the kind of shifts that can happen in your social life. With all you're doing is changing your diet a little bit, but that can totally upend everything and change things and elicit responses from people that you never would have expected that they would talk to you like that. You'd be like, "What'd you say to me?" And it's I mean, it can get really challenging. Now, everybody has to deal with the social piece differently, and you have to meditate on it. You kind of hear what other people have done, and then make your decision what's right for you and your family, your friends, and that kind of thing. Sometimes I tell my story, and I have to do the disclaimer that not everybody can do what I did, because I was fairly hardcore in terms of the social piece. Just that's what I did, where I cut a lot of ties and I focused almost all of my energies on practicing the Mucusless diet and my music, because I'm a musician and I was in conservatory music at the time. So I didn't really give myself a chance to feel like I was missing anything, because just even without the diet, the type of schooling I was in was already really rigorous, so it took up all my time anyway. So there's not a whole lot of social life you're gonna have, but I just, because it would drag me in. Like if I would go out to eat, because I ended up eating out in restaurants, and I would go, uh, uh, and so I kind of just had to cut my ties with a lot of those things. And when I did, it was easier. It was kind of like an alcoholic that has to go however many years before they're allowed to step foot in a bar again, and they have total freedom where they don't crave the alcohol. And I don't even know, maybe somebody here knows the year. I don't know what year, how long is recommended for that. But that was kind of my experience where I had went through going and kind of seeing people around me eating like that. And at first it was hard because I was still craving those foods. Then once I stopped craving those foods, it was just hard kind of being around that dynamic and seeing people eat this stuff that I know is really harming them. And the smell is, the smell thing, your sense of smell can get very acute while practicing the Mucusless diet. And it got harder to tolerate the sweet smell of the morning sacrifices. I think there's a Bible verse that talks about that in the Old Testament, but it got real hard to deal with that. So that was me. There are some practitioners that still go to restaurants, or maybe they go to vegan restaurants, get salads, there's options that you can do when you go to some of these places, but you got to be careful because it's cross-contamination. Sometimes there's, when I say cross-contamination, you know what that means. It's like, this is vegan, although they used the same spoon and knife that they did to cut some meat and stuff they used to cut your vegan meat, and like here, so it's, so that's, so my point is, those are issues that have to be addressed. The emotional detox side, I recommend the Sedona method just because that really did wonders for me. But there's a lot of different emotional releasing type of systems that are out there and approaches. You just got to find the one that really works for you. Next question I want to ask, and this is really to help me out. I think this would be a good sort of just discussion to have amongst peers, is as someone trying to share the Mucusless diet with a lot of people, on social media and email and websites and that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of you are, detoxification specialists, and you should talk about the diet and fasting and all that kind of stuff. What would you say is the best approach for something so dynamic as the Mucusless diet? How can we share this message that gives, total credence to how dynamic it is, yet their things aren't missed? For instance, sometimes there's a big focus on fasting, and it's almost like what people are doing, and that's what we focus on. So if there's people fasting or doing long fasts, then say in the forum, you'll see nothing but a lot of like, oh, fasting, I'm doing 30-day fast. It'll just be like a forum of fasting. Then on the other extreme is, people come in and they're going through, like, I like some of the pictures that Ashley had posted up, some of the mucus lean meals and the transitional meals, and you get the situation where, because we're so diverse, you post up something that's got some, like a picture with some mucus in it, like a transitional item, and then you're always going to have some trolls or some people kind of, oh, why are you eating that? And so I'm putting this out there. How can we present this information to, on one hand, let people know it's okay to transition, it's okay to eat mucus while you're transitioning. There's certain, all mucus is not created equal. There's some things that tend to be better to eat than others. They're guidelines, they're not laws. But at the same time, still be able to share, have people like Brother Air come out and talk about doing 9-month juice fast after 35 years of practicing the Mucusless diet. So how can we present this, or is it possible to present that in a way where people can really get an understanding of this whole, the big picture of this system? Anybody chime in?
So,
I have something to say. Go ahead.
No. No, you go.
Okay. Well, just to kind of share some personal experiences that I've had lately. Like, I moved down here, and the little grove that I live in, there are 3 people living here, and they're pretty much raw vegan. And so I'm pretty much in this kind of like raw vegan social group, and I've been going around to some like vegan meetups, and I know, like, when I hear conversations with people that are practicing a raw vegan diet and talking to people that are coming from a sad American diet, they just vegan, raw vegan, and they're just like preaching this kind of dogmatic, way of eating. And I think it's been pretty powerful to step in and like maybe chime into the conversation and go, hey, well, Mucusless Diet Healing System, it's a transitional healing system where you go from A to B, and kind of explain to them that you don't necessarily just need to be raw vegan, but you can use transitional meals and kind of talk to them in that way. And so that's been really nice. And another thing too, like a lot of the people here that are raw vegan, they're high-fat raw vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much predominantly like, hey, how do you feel when you eat avocados? And then they're like, oh, well, I feel really tired, but at least it's raw vegan. Nice to kind of talk to them. Well, hey, if like avocados are highly mucus forming, have you ever experienced like congestion or sinus cloggage when you eat these high like mucus forming foods? Yeah, that makes sense. And then I'll talk to them, well, hey, you might try out like some, a baked yam or a baked sweet potato or some steamed broccoli, because it's like, and then just kind of get more into the Mucusless Diet Healing System and just kind of like some more of my experiences. And I think that's been pretty powerful because I've really been able to like spread some light and open up some awareness to like the dogma of just being strictly raw vegan. But I think the most powerful thing we can do is really like share our own personal experiences with people, and not have it be like combative, but just try to match their frequency or wherever they're at and kind of come at them. So yeah, I just want to share that. It's been pretty cool being able to kind of like come at this thing from a different angle, because veganism is pretty popular down here, and there are quite a few people. I mean, I just went to a meetup that had 150 people.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been pretty cool getting to talk about it. I've turned like so many people onto it already, and I had somebody sending me text messages like, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe these mucoid plaque ropes coming out of me with the lemon enemas," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, right on. That's what's up." And he's been on like the Dr. Sabi thing for like a year or whatever, and he reads the book. 5 days later, he's illuminating mucoid plaque ropes after lemon enemas, and so that's been cool.
Yeah, that's what's up. There it is, right there, and that's, you brought up a big point, because that's the raw vegan sort of fascist thing is interesting. I mean, because I reached out to one reason why there's such a, if you go on the forum, especially in past months or years, there seemed to be a real focus on the raw foods, was because I was focused on sharing the Mucusless diet with those communities, because they seem to be really open to hearing about parts of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. So they didn't necessarily want to hear too much about the early part of one's transition and you know, the cottage cheese days, and you know that the stuff, you know, stuff that's way early on in some people's transitions, but they were real interested in the, you know, sort of fruit fasting and long-term fruit dieting and stuff, and so there was at times a bit of an imbalance, and what I'm trying to, you know, kind of rectify that now, where we can just feel comfortable really sharing whatever for people that want to share. You know, we just got to feel comfortable with the whole spectrum, whether it be a long-term fast or eating, you know, whatever it is, you know, along the way. Like I said, sometimes I try to share some of my worst stories, because those usually happen early on in my transition, but I was still going to I don't know, 6-7 months in, and I'm not saying this, and then and that's another thing about talking about this. Sometimes you say something and then everybody go and do it, because they hear like, oh, he said he did.
Like being
yeah, but he Tobin already knows. Yeah, the Taco Bell days, you know, where I was like, you talk about crackhead mode, you know, I go get like a bag of Sun Chips and go to taco hell, and I was really in hell. I mean, it was definitely hell, but it was part of my transition coming from where I was coming from, you know. So that's one thing, we gotta really have compassion for one another and understand that everybody's thing is so different, and we're coming from different things, because I mean, most of the people I work with got off of meat way faster than I did. It took me a while to really totally get off to the point where I just couldn't even stand the thought of eating meat. It was no longer a part of my my body, nah, I can't even think of that. But that took a while, you know, and it didn't have anything to do with willpower. It had everything to do with the system. And now, Ashley, you had an idea there. So what's your idea?
Yeah, so about what I notice in like the vegan groups or like fasting groups, everything's so rigid, and you do get into that dogma. And I feel like going like all fruitarian or all vegan without taking the necessary steps to accept yourself for where you are, like accept yourself fully as a meat eater or a pus eater, whatever. Instead, you just kind of like run that direction. And I've done it before too, you know, with vegetarianism for 4 years, and I started this trip again going vegan in January. I was like, I'm going vegan again. And then like a month later, I remembered my books, got them out, and found the system again. So I think acceptance is huge. And I think that as a Mucusless Diet Healing group, we should really just embrace acceptance for people wherever they are. And I think that helps people to gain trust in themselves. And you really have to trust yourself and know yourself if you want to ride this thing out through whatever it brings up, all sorts of stuff. So I'd say acceptance would be a big one to kind of push, like all levels, not just only when you're doing these really deeper works. And then, yeah, best thing we can do is be an example. When I first started this in January, I was really overweight, unhealthy. My girlfriend saw me, and you know, they wouldn't really listen to what I was saying as far as, you gotta do this, man. These are the books. I remember. This is it. Do it. I mean, they went out. They were like making fun of me. One girl's like, "Oh yeah, you found God's diet. Yeah, right." And I'm like, "Dude, you don't even know." But anyway, so now 7 months in, my stomach's flat. I look good. My skin's nice. Pain's gone, and my girlfriends are still the same. Hot bellies, chowing on like gluten-free rice bread and trying all these crazy things because they don't actually know who they are and how incredibly simple it is. So I guess, long story short, just acceptance.
Yeah.
And then usually when I tell people to start eating clean food, I've gotten back to not giving a whole bunch of advice at once, but just start with something like eat more fruit. Everything is so restrictive in diets.
Mm-hmm.
Eat more, and then as soon as they add that, then they feel better and go,
vegetables. Because like I notice a lot of people don't really eat fruit, and that's honestly I think because their bodies are like so toxic that
Yeah.
like just even
Can't
fruit,
handle it.
it's,
Mm-mm.
it's just it's uncomfortable. So I think
Yep.
what I told my friend, like I inspire my friend to like just eat more vegetables, like when he ate meat, and like he's been eating salads like almost every time he has like meat. So I mean, even though he's still eating meat, at least he's having a salad with it. I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like a huge improvement. And I think even just that little, you know, just that little thing can just like take such an effect on people. And I think that's all it takes, just like dropping gems, like dropping seeds every once in a while. But like, I usually just keep it quiet and just like, you know, people just watch and learn.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Let me ask Brittany, because I know you sort of you know, this question of how to do this, because I know you work with a lot of people in the raw vegan and the fruit diet area. So what's your experience and thoughts on this?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the transition is key. I think that's what this system really specializes in. You know, so many people, um, you know, just like being very vigilant and like you need.
Is she gone?
See, I think the audio, you still there? The audio kind of went out a little bit there, Brittany. Let's see, we might have lost Brittany there for a second, and maybe she'll she'll log off and come back on. Um, who else wants to chime in? How about Camille?
Yeah, the approach that I use, although I don't have I don't have a health fitness center, and I'm a practitioner of Mucusless Diet Healing System. But when I go to the supermarkets, when I meet people, I'd like to introduce it by asking them. I could start provoking questions. Does the idea of transitioning to a God-given natural diet is appealing to you? And I find that question alone piques their interest. And they don't hear, I'm not using the word veganism or raw foodism. The key word here is natural diet and transitioning. And I've experienced a lot of success. And then I, give them the book. Then they start asking me questions. Well, what is that transitioning natural God-given diet? Then I introduce the book, Spear Speak, and the Mucusless Diet Healing System, which Professor Spear already disseminated the information for me, and I let the book do all the talking, so to speak. So I've experienced, a great deal of success with that kind of approach.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Andre?
For me, well, I used to be hardcore, but I kind of like calmed down because it was quite aggressive. So I don't talk about the diet anymore. I just take it easy. If people ask me questions, I tell them, I try to, sustain myself on a plant-based diet as much as possible. But if they pry and pry and pry, then I might get into the word mucusless diet. Because in the past, I've seen that when I pushed hard, people step back, but when I lay back, people move forward. So that's how I changed my approach. And if I'm in like social circles, I don't come out and talk about it.
Hmm.
Because sometimes, uh, people might take it the wrong way that you try to impose on them. I've practiced, acceptance, tolerance, and patience. I'm working on my patience, and not being too aggressive with it to turn people off. But, if they ask, I share. If they don't ask, we talk about what they want to talk about. But yeah, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
just taking it easy now and not being too aggressive with it. So yeah, that's my approach now.
Yeah. Okay. And Danielle, how about you? I know working with a lot of people with the fitness side, you know, how challenging has it been to introduce the Mucusless diet to people?
Well, I guess I kind of approach it in the sense of I let people come to me about it, but it's kind of easy because of my physique and my look. I get a lot of compliments on my physique and my look, and they ask, "What are you doing? Your skin looks great. What are you doing?" Or, you know, "You're lean. How do you know, maintain your muscle?" And I tell them about the Mucusless diet from that point, and just based off of that, you know, I have about 5 girls that are interested in getting into the diet, just based on the fact that I look the way I do, and they want to look like me. So it's really just being an example, and when people see your habits and they see that you're making your own meals and you're talking about enemas and things like that, and you know, they'll ask questions. I'm used to people asking me questions now, and so I just I kind of let them come to me. I also, if I hear that people have issues, like let's say they're having constipation issues, or they may not be able to get rid of their acne, or they're fatigued, or anything like that, then I start asking them questions. I say, okay, well, if you don't mind me asking, you know, and I know this is TMI for a lot of people, but, you know, I'll ask them about their bowel movements. How many bowel movements do you have in a day? You know, I'll ask them about their eating habits. What are your eating habits like? I'll ask them about their practices. How are you, you know, doing this routine? Are you living a natural lifestyle? And I kind of lead in. I ask a lot of lead-in questions, and next thing you know, we're talking about the Mucusless diet. And at that point, they're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're intrigued to hear what I have to say. And so that's kind of the way lately that I've been doing things, is really just being that example and allowing people, for the most part, to come to me. So.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's definitely what I tend to do, and what I've done is because diet just comes up in conversation. So if you're out there and you're talking to people, you don't have to bring it right, you know, kind of in their face. Usually people start asking you questions and be like, well, don't you eat, you want this, and so, because it's like sacrilegious sometimes when you say no thank you. Somebody's offering you something, it's like, here's some potato skins with a bunch of cheese and bacon, and oh no thank you. And I'm always real kind. You know, some people in the vegan community, you know, they get mad at, you know, they'll like cuss someone out, like, do you know what that do you know that you're holding murder right there? You know that? You know, like, I'm just like, no, you know, no thank you. But that gets people kind of engaged, where they want to be like, wait a minute, what? So you don't eat? I'm like, oh yeah, I used to eat that. I don't really eat that anymore. But now people are intrigued, and they just keep asking questions, and then it's up to you as how far you want to go. What I did, I mean, part of the reason why I had put out the books and the annotated version and Spirit Speaks, it was like practical, because I was always sending people places. I would have to either type stuff up every time someone asked me, and I was like, I just need to publish stuff, and then just here, it's all there. Read that, and then ask more questions when you're done reading that. And so these were some real good, insightful responses there. I want to move to a question from the audience. There's a question that was put on YouTube by Kazir Ninja, and asked, I get a lot of mucus. Please explain why and how to get rid of it. So, all right, we got ourselves a question. Yeah, who wants to field this one? Oh, yeah, Toby was a Mucusless diet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty vague question, but I mean, it's okay to ask something like that. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, you should definitely read the book and understand where mucus comes from, and then work towards eating more mucusless foods to eliminate it. I mean, I guess that's kind of like a direct response. I mean, there's probably a better way to word it than that, but yeah, I mean, they'd have to just really get into, because yeah, someone messaged me today actually and was asking me about, just like brand new, and he was asking me about the Mucusless diet, and I think that's when it's really good to refer them to. I like to refer them to your videos, Professor Spira, and also to get the book and just really like learn and like study it, and then gradually find your way into eating more fruit meals and vegetables and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good to, at a certain point, like, don't feel like you have to try to explain it all and share it all. People really need to take a step in the direction. They got to do some work. So you can turn them on to the book or say, check this, this website out or whatever. But then you kind of leave it there, and then see if they'll take action. Because you don't want to spend a lot of time, trying to convince it, because that's not your job, trying to convince everybody. It's like, look, here's something that, this is for people that don't know, this is the annotated Mucusless Diet Healing System that I put out several years ago. And but whether you get this or the original, I mean, just get the book. Get a book and really study it. And I say study all of them. I got copies, 1924, 4th edition. I got like 3 or 4 of those. And just, studying, that's one thing that I really try to, try to promote here is reading. Well, and now, while we're plugging things, if you don't want to read or you don't feel like reading, now we have the audio book version. And now this is the CDs. You go to mucusfreelife.com/store. You'll see all this stuff. But we got the CDs. Then we also got the downloads.
So I have a question about that, because I like, when I heard it, I thought it was gonna be your voice, because I just automatically thought like, oh, it would be. So what made you decide to use this guy, and like, where did you find him? Like, what?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, even before I put out the annotated Mucusless Diet, I had thought about creating an audio book myself, where I would record myself reading the book. What I learned was I developed a new appreciation for voice actors. It's hard. It's hard to read something that long. It's one thing if you're a broadcaster and you're doing something for 30 seconds, or you're doing like a radio ad or something like that. When you're reading a book, and especially one that's challenging, because Eric is using unconventional language and unconventional sentence structure and stuff. I mean, it's real kind of unique. Vocabulary as well as just grammar and stuff. It's hard. I mean, it really is. So I got through about 4 chapters or 4 lessons doing it myself, and this was like 2012 or something, and it was actually, like I said, that was before the annotated version, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna just have to hire somebody to do this, because this is pretty challenging. So I went through. The first voice actor that I found and hired, he kind of fell through. He wasn't, I really liked his voice, but he kind of wasn't up to being able to really do a book-length project. A lot of the stuff he had did was ads for little 30-second ads and 60-second ads on radio stations and stuff. And then I found the Justin Fraction, who ended up doing it. And just worked with him. I had put put the gig out there. There's places where you can find contractors to do different types of jobs, and I put a thing out there. But really, what made it possible was we had did a GoFundMe campaign, and we raised a nice amount of money. We had the different donation levels, and if you donate like $50, you'd get a free consultation with me and downloads of all the books and that kind of thing. And so that was real successful, and that really helped make it possible to have it come to fruition. So as far as to elaborate more on just that question about the mucus, so you can think of things in terms of mucus forming foods on one hand, and then lymphatic system on the other hand. You know, so when you're blowing your nose, that is the lymphatic system. But the reason that you are blowing your nose is there's a level of cellular constipation that's going all the way. You're saturated and your lymphatic system is not moving properly. The reason is primarily due to eating of pus and mucus forming foods. So you eat pus and mucus forming foods and it gets in your stomach, gets down, and all the way it's going through your body, it's leaving this trail of slime that your body's got to try to deal with. When you're eating a cleansing diet, or you're at least having salads, even if you're still eating pus. If you know the reason people could kind of eat like that, but still, you know, kind of have some longevity, is if they're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, is because it's just kind of pushing that stuff. There's going to be less residue. But if it backs up, we got 32 feet of impacted intestines. So if you got this jellified, you know, just think of a piece of meat, and that turns into this real viscous, very concentrated, you know, pus-like substance, and a little of it might come out in the bowel movement, but where's the rest of it go? You know, the body tries to find a way to protect your lungs and heart, you know, so it might stuff it over here. If you got a uric acid type of body, maybe it'll, you know, sort of transform it into a more acidic kind of, you know, kind of thing.
So is pus the same as mucus? I mean, that's the kind of thing that I was been kind of confused about. Like, how do you know what's really happening in the body as far as like when you digest it and like when it turns into slime? Like, isn't it pretty much the same, or like how is it different?
Yeah. So pus is basically, as I like to say, you know, pus and mucus forming foods, but pus and mucus are two categories under mucus. So there's sort of a large category that we just call mucus forming foods that include both pus and mucus forming foods. But if we get more specific, when we say the word pus forming foods, we're talking about meat products, animal products, dead animal flesh, dairy. These, anything that has dead blood cells in it, you know, dead, decaying blood cells, tissue, huh?
That's where the pus comes from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because you're literally eating, but by definition, if you look up a definition of the word pus, I mean, by definition, you're eating pus, you know, cooked pus, you know, because it's decaying flesh that has the, you know, the dead blood, you know, all that stuff is in it, and so this decaying flesh. If you just let it decay, then you know, part of its constituents will be this jellified pus-like kind of stuff, and our body was not designed to handle that. Animals that are true carnivores, their stomach acid is a lot hotter than ours, and in the, you know, the stomachs. I mean, there's a whole different physiology where our body is really not set up. But we've adapted over generations and generations and generations of eating wrong foods, which is why transition is so important, because we got good here. Right, and really, and not being hard on ourselves, because we have to, you know, be understanding of where we're coming from in terms of our entire bloodline, and really trying to understand that. So yes, anybody else want to chime in or add to what I was saying? I kind of did a quick and dirty little discussion on that. Okay.
Hey, actually, I have to be going pretty soon, so
okay.
Yeah, I'm about to head out to work. So
okay.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having the meetup. Seems like it's longer, bro.
Yeah, next time we'll have to do the rap, unless you want to do a quick rap real quick.
Let's do it.
You got a verse. All right. So over here, I wonder if I could. Okay, I got a new toy. This is my new keyboard. It's got a sampler on it, and so let's see what happens.
Let's do it. All right, yeah. It's the Mucusless Diet Meetup. Professor Spira said it. You don't need pus. It's the Mucusless Diet MEETUP. You don't need pus. Yeah, it's the Mucusless Diet MEETUP. That's the spirit said it. You don't really need pus. You don't really need that stuff. It's bad for your gut. It's gonna fuck you up. You're gonna be done. You're gonna be a bum. Don't want that to happen, man. Just have some fun. Eat some good food. Eat some good greens. Eat those intestines. Feel so clean. That's how you do it. That's how you go. You gotta relax. The way that you flow. You gotta do it right. You love the music vibe. You tonight. We gotta bring it right to your face. Loving that hearing jazz all day. Yeah. Mucusless Diet the MEETUP. Man, you don't really need pus. Don't eat that stuff. Bad for your gut. Get them fruits and greens. Fill yourself up with that good stuff, with that good love. Hell yeah. And just everyone out. Just always fill yourself up. Oh yeah. At night, don't have any fright. There's gonna be a lot of nasty stuff coming out your bowel movement. Just watch for it, man. Just makes you food. Makes you go crazy, man. Don't be foolish. Be smart about your decisions. Have that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding, and this planning. Me and Professor getting better in this weather. Woo!
Hey!
Hey, Tobin, that was hot. You did it on the spot.
That was great, Toby. Good job. Good job, Professor.
Yeah, off the top of the head.
Hey, you ain't braver than me, man. You braver than me. Off the fearless.
Yeah.
Right, right. Those are some awesome lyrics, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fresh
Yeah.
backdrop. Yeah, man. Me and Professor got to do a project together, man.
Yeah. We're gonna get on that now, especially because I got the workstation here, and so I'm gonna be able to really, just really try to open this thing up, and we'll have to do that, man. We'll have to get on that and start working on some music, and I'm gonna get some
music and arts is definitely, I think, the key, man, to like really bringing this whole thing about. Like more than the talking, it's really like gonna be like with Israel's art and like the hip hop and breath in ensemble. It's just all coming together, and that's really gonna
takes it to just a whole different level. Just takes it to a whole different level. And yeah, so man, well, yeah, it's good having you on, brother.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
guys.
job, guys. You guys are jamming it out.
Hey, take it easy, man. Take it easy.
Yeah,
Peace
So,
out,
good hearing your
everybody.
voice, brother.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, see you.
Later,
All
Joe.
right.
Bye.
yeah. So that was fun. You know, it's got
That was a good intermission.
yeah.
It's good to see you in your element, Professor Spira. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's you know, that's always that's what I prefer to do. That's always like I'd rather play music, but it's important to talk about diet. And,
Yeah, but you all spoke about, what's passion. I play soccer, so that's how I get, forget about everything else.
yeah,
Forget the diet and just go out and sweat. So,
yeah, there you go.
being passionate about something is important, other than the diet.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that.
I guess Tobin like rapping, so that's for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's rapping and yeah, everybody. Yeah, it's gotta find the passion and really master it and get into it. And I know some people's passion is their family, and when that's the case, then get a PhD in family. Be like study. But that's just me because I'm just a study person. So I'm like, man, get your books, read up all the different stuff, and then you probably, if you got some children and you're putting on the Mucusless diet, you probably want to talk to Cora, who I'm gonna be posting up some of her videos over the next several days. I think this weekend. Some of her, there's an interview with Cora, is another long-term practitioner of the Mucusless diet. Has been around a while, but folks haven't heard too much of, haven't featured her a whole lot on the channel yet. So yes, all right. So let me, so we won't keep you guys too much longer. I'll just kind of open it up, just if anybody, you guys have any questions for me, or if you got some comments or some shout outs or something that you want to, talk about, your project or anything like that. This is the open forum here.
Cool.
Hey, Spirit, I wanted to, yo, was that somebody trying to get in?
Yeah, go for it, Andre. I'll talk next.
No, I just had a question.
Yeah.
I think back me and Spirit was talking about, sometime in the future to do like a meetup where we have a selected few people actually meet somewhere. I think something like that would be interesting. I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, Spirit. I don't know, maybe, next year sometime or in the future sometime.
Yeah, definitely next year. We're definitely gonna do something 2017. We might get something before that. And there's different levels of what, and that's kind of what we're talking amongst ourselves now, as to how big do we want it to be. Do we want to try to do like Mucusless Diet, sort of like a lot of people bring up the Woodstock Fruit Festival because people know about that. But I there's a few things on the table that we're going to try to do. So we'll probably do something that'll be informal, some kind of, Mucusless Diet live weekend or something. There's some places, might do it in Cincinnati or someplace kind of close to where we're at, or we got good facilities somewhere else that we can get for good price. We'll go someplace else. But and then so that's a more informal thing, and then we'd also like to do like a week-long thing, week-long type of, big sort of almost show where we got music going and we got the seminars and the lectures and food prep classes and breakout sessions and, and just really do it up. And I've been, I never really watched a lot of his stuff years ago, but I caught that documentary with Tony Robbins on Netflix. I've been watching that. I've been like, man, I want to put on a Mucusless Diet version of that. Just, with the stage, and you got the music going, and you going out in the audience, and just like, just really, the breakout sessions where people could really learn, go someplace where they got, kitchen facilities and stuff, or ovens or something, and people can go and we can show people how to make the food and all that kind of stuff, and juicing seminars, fitness seminars, herbology, just the whole thing, and so I got a vision of that. So we're putting it out there, so we're gonna see what happens.
Right.
Cool. Yes, Southern California might be a good place to hold something because the food's here all year round. It's really abundant. You get like 50 pounds of Valencia oranges for $12. Like getting 35 pounds of bananas for $5. And so if we're trying to incorporate food, it might be worthwhile, something to look into.
Yeah, that sounds good.
The weather's nice too.
yeah, most definitely.
I wanted to say something though, like earlier when we were talking about talking to other people about the mucusless diet, one thing that I noticed that all of us pretty much had in common was we weren't using labels when we were talking to people. So we weren't like identifying with, a certain, veganism or raw foodism. And I think that's really important just because I feel like people can be really sensitive and might have been, might have had like an interaction with somebody that called themselves a vegan or a raw vegan who was like really combative. So somebody might have like a kind of a bad experience with somebody using these labels. And so I think if we're able to like maneuver around the labels and actually really like talk about what we're doing, I think it can be really powerful. Just because people might put up an instant wall and have just instant resistance when they're like, you need, like you're acidic, you need to be a raw, get on raw food. And so people are instantly just like, whoa, no. And so I like this approach of just of being peaceful and actually like talking about what we're doing and not just like using labels to identify with. And that's a good point. That's something. Sometime we'll have a meetup and we could do where we really talk about that kind of thing. And because the last meetup we had a little play. What are they called? The role play. The role playing where one person was, like someone asking about the diet, or like a person mucus eater, another person was a mucusless diet practitioner, and we would go back and forth. It's like, what is that you're eating, and we just kind of did the role playing, and that was fun. So we'll do some more of that maybe in the next session, but yeah, because and we had talked about that quite a bit, I think, in one of them previous sessions of how you talk about the mucusless diet, how you approach people, share it, so because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you get emotionally drained, because you can get drained trying to share this information with people, and they're not receptive. They're just it can be rough, and so you can get real drained. And that's why I tell people, don't an old big thing that I used to say was I did the concept of the Jerry Springer effect. I don't even know if people understand that, what I'm saying, but it's like if you watch that old show Jerry Springer, it would be like going out on stage and everybody in the place hates you. It's like you represent something that everybody hates, and you go out on stage, no matter what you say, everybody's cussing at you and yelling at you, and you got people wanting to fight you and stuff. And so what I say is avoid the Jerry Springer effect with the mucusless diet. If you're by yourself and you aren't really used to talking about the diet a lot with people and stuff, people will can eat you alive. You just really just kind of get you down on your spirits and that kind of stuff. So you don't want to put yourself in that kind of situation. But when you are ready to talk about it, like Doug was saying, it's good to avoid the labels, because because even with when people ask me questions, I always underplay everything, because a lot of people, it's like the exact opposite of what a lot of the vegans do, where the vegans are, they're vegan as soon as they start talking, like, well, I've been vegan for how many years, and they're just really in your face. With me, I'm just real kind of laid back with it, and somebody starts asking, I'll be like, well,
I practice this diet. I don't even say what it is yet. I just say I practice a diet. Well, I practice this diet, and it's mostly plant based, and I eat a lot of plants and stuff. And then that gets them asking more questions, and then once you get asked more questions, that gives you the permission to then share more, and then you share as much as you feel comfortable sharing. And then I say, well, I practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And they're like, well, what is that? And I'm like, well, and then if I want to say, because I might name drop the word vegan, but I'm not calling myself like, well, I'm a vegan, or that. It's like you said, that's a label thing, where it's just like, if someone is interested, then they'll check it out. They're, oh, okay, Mucusless Diet, let me see what that is. If they're not interested, they don't check it out. But yeah, so that's a good point. And
can I add some real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add to like what Doug was saying, like the labeling put pressure on people, and to add, it's like people fear what they don't know. So I used to come out like blatantly and say, oh, Mucusless Diet, blah blah. But people fear what they don't know, and they turn their nose up at that. So now, if I talk to someone, I might not even mention the Mucusless Diet for the first 3, 4, 5 times we talk, and then I might say, if you want to change your diet, you can still eat a chicken breast with some broccoli, or not even saying the Mucusless Diet, because I've noticed like that people turn their nose up. And another thing I wanted to add is that, with the Mucusless Diet, all the other paradigm is, are part of the Mucusless Diet: veganism, vegetarianism, raw foodism. So all that fits in the Mucusless Diet. In my earlier days, I used to like, oh man, I wanted to be mucusless right away. As I matured into the diet, I did some vegetarian meals, I did some vegan meals, I did some, even some raw foodist meals. So I incorporated all those isms into the Mucusless Diet. And I think that's what most people don't understand, that you can use all those things, in the Mucusless Diet. The Mucusless Diet is like, the all-ism, I call it, because everything can be used as a transition in the diet. So I just wanted to share that and add that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Another thing I like doing too is not even talking about the Mucusless Diet Healing System, but just getting somebody in the transition mentality. So, for example, the other day, there's a gal that came here from the post office, and it was myself, another gentleman, and her. And he kind of came at her pretty aggressively and was like, called her out. He's like, you're acidic, you're eating animals, that's not your food, you need to stop that right now. And he kind of like lays it on her pretty heavily, and then he turns to me and he's like, Doug, tell her she's acidic. And
bring me into this.
I know, I just like, ooh, cool it down, whoa. I start talking to her, and I was just kind of investigating what she does, and she said she doesn't really eat meat, she's primarily vegetarian, and she's like, oh man, I have like this really heavy addiction to like cheese and milk. And I was just like, well, hey, you know that there's alternatives that are non-dairy. And so I talked to her about like maybe incorporating, coconut milk or the diet cheese or whatever, and explain to her that it's like, it's not something you have to do today, just like cut everything out cold turkey, and just kind of got her into the mindset of transition rather than even talking about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Just like super fundamental, really easy to grasp, and I felt like she was really responsive to it, rather than just kind of going, whoa, what is this dude, coming at me with, and I don't know.
That's a good story, because what is that? With the vegans, like you're like, you gonna tell someone to their face, like, you're like, you eat this, you're acidic, you got a sick body. Like,
and on another note too, I told her it was okay. I was like, what you're doing I'm like, it's okay. Like, I've been there. I've done the same thing. It's, don't like, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel guilty about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that was a major part of it. It's like, I feel like when we come at somebody so aggressively, it's like they can feel guilty and feel ashamed of what they're doing, and not even understand what to do to change. It's just kind of negative. And so I just try to share a little positivity and kind of get her tiptoeing in the right direction. So
Yeah, that's real important to me to come across like is compassionate, as loving as we can be when we're dealing with folks like that, because I don't want to be like then there's some of the like vegan bullies or something, where they're you or this and that. It's like, first of all, most of them all ate meat and dairy at some point. There's, now there's maybe some vegan babies that are being born and things, but coming up, but very few started off like that. So you had to learn somewhere. There's some people that respond to that kind of. Some people, like a small group of people, I think, respond to that kind of almost nasty. They just like they want to be, they want to be scolded. Like they. Like you go in the military, I used to play, football and stuff, and they had coach just cuss you out just to get you to push a little harder, so there's that kind of thing. But most people think they just need that loving message, and like people were saying here, that example of just you're doing it, and if people are around you, they're going to want to know what you're doing. Like, let's just as a get to know you kind of thing. And,
And on another note, just to like end that story, I gave her my email address, and I said, hey, if this is something that that you would like more information on, or you have any questions, or you just want to talk to me, like, here's my email address. And she gave me hers, and I said, I'm actually going to wait till you contact me, because I want you to want it, versus me coming at you and trying to share a bunch of information that you might not necessarily really want to receive. And so I kind of like left it out there and put it on her to come to me. So
yeah. All right. Camille, you're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, the technology is always fun. Always fun trying to deal with that. And so we'll kind of wrap things up. We'll just go around to everybody and get some final words. And if you got some things that you can plug, some programs or anything like that you want to promote, you can kind of tell people how to get a hold of you, where to find you, and all that good stuff. So, or if you just want to, or shout out, if you want to do some shout outs to some family members or something, you can do that. So let's start out with Doug, and say your last thoughts, and if you have any want to talk about what you're doing.
Last thoughts. Well, I really like connecting. I think that's really important. I think that's a really huge piece to the transition, is being around people that support you and understand you. And that you can really like share what's going on, because there are a lot of people like in my life that don't like me. I can talk to them about this, but they don't really understand it. And so being able to connect with all of you is like really important to me. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really have.
Now do you now so you work on the fruit farm? Now do you work in the fields, or is it like how does that work where you're at?
Oh, okay. So yeah, like it's a pretty small grove. It's 1.3 acres, but there's about 185 fruit trees. I mean, it's really good stuff. It's primarily like a fig farm, and so I just do like a work trade, and so I work to pay for my rent and all that good stuff, and then above and beyond a certain amount of hours, I make like an income off that, and so I just work and share. But a lot of what I've been doing since I've been here is connecting with like the Morse community, because there are a lot of people in the Morse camp, and also I've actually met some people that are somewhat long-term practitioners to the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I met up with this dude named Jason. You might know him, but he's been practicing the system for probably 6 years now, and he's I mean, he's really on point. He knows his stuff, and he's been a really cool dude to talk to. So a lot of what I'm just doing out here is like connecting with people and kind of building just a group of people that I can talk to and connect with. And I'm actually doing my first public speaking event this Saturday, so I'm pretty excited about that. Like, went around, put up some flyers. Like, the flyer itself doesn't actually have like the terminology I would have really liked to use, but I'm like co-hosting it with somebody else, so we kind of had to agree to disagree.
Compromise, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, during the talk, I'll still say what I want to say. So I'm pretty excited about that. Like, long-term goal, I'm trying to basically help people help themselves. And I'm out here learning kind of the ins and the outs of a grove. Like, I also work at a farmer's market, and so I get to see like the whole process of like the food growing, it being sold at a market, etc., etc. And the other farm that I'm working with, they're mainly focusing on fruits and herbs, and so they're kind of coming from like the Morse perspective, and so they're growing a lot of medicinal herbs. And so I'm going to basically be spending more time out there probably from next week on, because they're also adapting kind of like a permaculture and biodynamic aspect with how they grow. And so that's something that I'm really interested in, because I eventually want to have like be a part of like a retreat or a healing center that grows their own food, and basically have a conscious living community where people can come and, you know, be with nature and heal and do what they need to do. And so I'm just kind of learning the ins and outs and the tricks to the trades, and so yeah, that's what I'm doing down here. I'm going to be going back over to Florida to volunteer at the level 2 class at the end of September, and so I'm pretty excited about that as well. And then yeah, let's see where it goes from there.
All right, that sounds like what what Gil Scott Heron said. The revolution will not be televised.
Yeah, man.
All this stuff is going down, and people have no clue that this world is about to change something drastic, and people have no clue. They're still thinking that Burger King is normal. You know, they don't realize what's about to hit. And,
no, dude, it's about to explode. Like, even the raw vegan restaurants that are popping up. I mean, dude, the consciousness is growing, and it's like it's exponential. Like, it's crazy. It's cool. Like, I'll come across people and talk to them, and like, just that people are getting it. Like, they're just like, dude, there's an awakening happening, and I'm definitely grateful and excited to be, you know, part of the ride, part of the wave. And so
most definitely. So all right.
And to say one more other thing, that's kind of like where my transition's taken me. Is just kind of like, I've had this calling to, you know, to be a part of this and to be doing these things. And I literally just moved out of my house, put all my stuff in my mom's garage after I helped her move, and I came down here with like a backpack, and now I'm just like, I'm just doing it. I'm totally letting go of like all of these fears, like especially around money. I think that's a huge part of my transition is like, I've always had this like looming fear of like not having enough money and like the scarcity. And I've even talked to like, it's funny, I've talked to a couple like psychic mediums who have both told me the exact same thing. I'm carrying all this like baggage from my parents because they had stress about money and financial this or that. And so that was just like the next step in my transition was like working through this stuff. And it's really cool. I like that, man. That's a great story, man. And that is that's like a classic Mucusless Diet story, because we got some stories. You know, we all got some stories, and so I dig that. Cool, man.
And thanks for being on.
Thank you.
So let's talk to Ashley. So some final thoughts and words and inspirations or shout outs or what you're doing, all that good stuff.
Just shout out to everyone who's doing the Mucusless Diet and everybody on the Facebook forum. Thank you guys for being other people doing this, because it's pretty boring and lonely when there's no one around that does the diet. So thank you guys for doing that. And I don't know, shout out, I guess, Tobin was already here. Doug, your videos are awesome. Spira, thanks, man, for making everything happen. David, Fastigi, what a doll. Hello, thank you. Elle, there's the girl Elle on the forum. She's hilarious. Hey. I don't know, anybody else? Hi, guys.
Yeah. And you had some children, right? I think.
I do. I've got 2 babies, an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Now, how have they taken to your change in diet?
Oh, I love them. They're so cool. My 11-year-old, that kid is brilliant. And so in January I started this thing, and I'm like, okay, doing this, and they just watch me, and they watch me do my enemas, and they watch me do everything, and I don't ever hide anything from them. I just keep it very real. And I go, they have choices, and I'm like, I don't know about all that. I'm not going to eat that. And so we check out our food and look at how squishy it is or how soft it is.
Yeah.
And my 6-year-old, she really likes ice cream, so that's all right. I'll figure her out when she starts school and we get a little more regimen on the eating. And my 11-year-old has taken to it really well. We even did an enema, her and I did. She's got chronic constipation, and I'm like, all right, do you want to try it? I'm like, okay. I'm like, a little bit. It was pretty funny. I looked online and saw that, yes, it is an actual practice that people do in other countries once a week for fevers.
Right.
And after that, it was because she got to really see, oh my gosh, that was in there, and we just talk about, stuff like that. Like, I asked her, what'd you eat at Dad's house? Oh, we had burgers. Did you poop yet? Nope, that's still in there from yesterday. Dang, girl. And
yeah.
But it's cool to watch her grow. She went on a camping trip with a school for a week, and they gave us the little menu before they go, and we were looking over it and talking about it. And in breakfast, it's sugar bread, a little bit of fruit, and then lunch, sugar meat bread, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of green, and sugar meat bread. And we just noticed it every single meal, and she was like, what am I going to eat? And I'm like, baby, you just eat whatever, you'll be fine, you just go, don't even worry about it, go have fun, go camp. And, just try to have a little extra greens in there, extra fruit. So the story was she went to camp, and one lunch they were having the salads, and my daughter just loads her plate up with this huge salad, and all these kids got this little salad, and they're looking at her like, what the heck? And she just eats the whole thing. But then sure enough, another kid, the next meal, gets a big salad. Then her girlfriend gets a big salad. Everyone's got these big salads, and so, yeah, man, they're awesome. I love it. So I wonder where she's going to go. I don't know where she's going to be when she's 20, 30, hopefully far beyond any of us and doing great stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being on. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right. Camille, what's your final words for brothers and sisters out there? And I see you have some interesting earrings there.
Yeah, that's the part of the lemon lime.
Yes.
The jewelry,
Mucus-free jewelry, yes, by the very beautiful Janan Al Jahani, and I'm sporting some things here from the line as well.
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely making me vibrate.
Right.
I have the bracelet as well. I did get the bracelet. Well, I'd like to say thank you to the brothers and sisters on the forum. I learned a lot, and I feel really connected and not isolated, so I can, continue to be steadfast and be a practitioner. And I'm definitely indebted and thanking Professor Spira and Professor Arnold Ehret for disseminating that information. It is life-changing, and I feel indebted so I can help share and share it with as many people as I can, to help them transform their physiology. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. And there, yeah. So it's your parting words, and tell us a little bit about your Rock and Shock Fitness and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm actually here right now. I'm sorry to be going back and forth. I'm still helping customers and all that good stuff. So, but anyways, I'm, I've been doing this since November, but compared to you guys, I'm very new. And I just appreciate, I'm not on the Facebook forum. I don't do social media a lot. I have an Instagram account, but I'm just not on it like most people would be. But I appreciate being on this forum and listening to all of you guys' stories and, how you go about transition, how you talk to people and your journey. And it's really inspiring and it really helps me because there are times where I do get down and I do get a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect and, to be there already. And it's nice to know that there's other people that are like-minded like me who are passionate about healthy living and being mucus-free. And it really is inspiring to listen to everybody. And in terms of my business, I have, and it's a new concept, so I'll try to make it short and sweet. But basically what it is, it's a wellness center. And right now it's an all-women's center. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And so what we do is most traditional gyms focus on external health, where you go into a gym and they work you out, but they tend to neglect internal health. So we do that here. We look at your internal health in terms of your resting metabolic rate, your VO2, your oxygen levels. We have a hyperbaric chamber here, and far infrared sauna here. We have we're getting an oxygen bar in here. We have a cafe, like a grab and go area where I'll make a lot of mucus-free foods and raw foods that women can eat. And we do that, and we pair that along with the physical side too. So you're working hand in hand on both. And I'm going to be franchising it and eventually having male facilities because I believe that men and women should work out separately. Men's needs are different than women's needs. And, my goal is to expand Rock and Shock and build a brand. I want to build farms. I want to have a retreat center. There's a lot of things I'm working on right now that are currently in the works, and I'm really excited about it. So, again, thank you guys so much for having me, and it was really awesome meeting all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to thank Andre, who did technical things and kind of fell off there a little bit, and Brittany, same situation, but I really want to thank the two of those, as well as Tobin, who had to get off a little earlier. And yeah, this has been great. I love being able to do this. I want to definitely try to do this more, and I mean it. This time, I know I say that all the time, and then it'd be like a year later. That's one thing you'll notice, Mucusless Diet practitioners, because you have to develop a certain patience, it's like your time, because you say time is relative, so we'll say, yeah, we're about to do something. It might not happen for 2 years, but it feels like it's happening tomorrow to us because time sort of it feels different on the Mucusless Diet. I mean, that's a whole other subject for another video, but you don't feel like you have to rush all the time, because you're kind of taking things easy, but it gets done. Everything that's supposed to happen, you can get it done if you want it to get done. So, but I do want to have more of these meetups and just kind of open up those avenues of dialogue. And we see a lot of people here on the panel have a lot of different projects going, and I want to definitely see mucus-free collaborations blossoming, and where we can really just start to kind of pool our resources and our intelligences and all that, just really come together as a community and just be a real serious force for transition and change in the world. And so I really appreciate everybody being on here. I appreciate all of you who tuned in. Thank you for tuning in as always. And if you have any other questions, that kind of thing, put them down in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe. Again, book we're talking about, Professor on there, it's Mucusless Diet Healing System. It's the annotated version, that annotated by myself. We also have the audio books available now in CD format as well as downloadable MP3. Check out mucusfreelife.com/store to see a breakdown of everything that's available there. So, for the last time, thank you all so much for participating, for tuning in, and until next time, peace, love, and breath.
One sec, Spirit. Are you still on?
Yeah, we're still okay. We got Doug has an addendum. Go ahead.
Oh, dude. So I'm gonna be starting an iridology course. I just finished like the GoFundMe account. And Spirit, I would love to be able to take a look at your eyes if you'd be willing to send me a picture. I just wanted to throw that out there really quick.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we might make that happen.
Cool. I'll connect with you in private, but I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So that'll be cool. All right. So yeah. Well, I know we came in with music. Where did that go? I was gonna play something on the way out. So yeah. So like I said, I thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of just being a part of something that's really important for this world. Really special. And I truly believe we're the founding fathers and mothers of the next thing. The next human revolution, and so that means that it is not going to be perfect, and we're going to kind of trip and fall sometimes, and not always make the best decisions, and sometimes do things that just like what But we're getting something brand new started. I mean, this is something that's new. When we're talking about a mucus-free community, it's not a vegan. It's different. It's different from raw vegans and fruitarians. It's just different. It's a different thing, and so we have to, really be proud about that we're a part of that. So all right. Well, until next time, peace, love, and breath.